It must be said, obviously, there is an interim heavyweight title fight going on between Cyryl Gane and Derrick Lewis, and the winner of that is going to fight Francis Ngannou for the UFC heavyweight title. But one thing that's clear from this is the fact that both Cyryl Gane and Derrick Lewis know Francis Ngannou very well. Cyryl Gane used to actually be a sparring partner for Derrick Lewis, and they used to spar quite a lot, all the time. It's actually something that they used to do quite a bit, because obviously Francis Ngannou used to have his training camp in France at the time, and he would actually use his time to actually train there all the time. Eventually, obviously, when his career started to build, he eventually relocated to Las Vegas, where he is right now. But it must be said, at one point there was a time when he was actually he spent many years in that training camp in France, and Cyryl Gane trained there with him, and they both used to train with each other. So obviously a lot of time has passed since then. They're not the same fighters, both of them. Both of them have actually become a lot better since then, especially Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou, when he was training in France, back then he never had the ability to actually do he never had the ability to scramble or the takedown defense that he showed in the Stipe fight. But it must be said that both of them do know each other quite well. They know each other very well, in fact, in terms of if you spent many years training with someone, you know their habits, you know the way they train. And even though a fighter could become better, it must be said that usually a fighter reverts back to what they usually do. So if you've been training many years with a fighter, you know a lot about his style, his tail, the way he carries himself, everything. You just know it. And obviously both Cyryl Gane and Derrick Lewis were sparring partners, and they used to work with each other quite a bit, so they know each other more than most people would actually think. The funny thing about this is Derrick Lewis has actually fought Francis Ngannou the first time. The first time was not that much of a good fight, it must be said, but the fact is he's been in there with him, and he knows his power, he knows the way he moves, he knows a lot about him. So both of these fighters know each other so well. Cyryl Gane knows Francis Ngannou because he trained with him, and Derrick Lewis knows Francis Ngannou very well because he actually fought him. So both of them knew each other, know of Francis Ngannou way better than any opponent that Francis Ngannou has actually fought, apart from probably Stipe. So both of them are in a unique position, because if they beat their next opponent, which is going to be each other, obviously Cyryl Gane is fighting Derrick Lewis and Derrick Lewis is fighting Cyryl Gane, the next opponent they're going to fight is Francis Ngannou, who they know very well. So it will be interesting to see what happens. Do you think Derrick Lewis would improve in terms of the second fight, and do you think he's going to win again? Because obviously Francis Ngannou has improved so much since then. And do you think Cyryl Gane, from his sparring sessions with Francis Ngannou all them years ago, do you think he can keep up with him now if they were to fight? Obviously we will never know until they actually do fight, but it's interesting to speculate, and it's interesting to see how much each fighter has grown. Obviously the Francis Ngannou that fought Stipe the first time is completely the second time is a completely different animal than the one that fought Stipe the first time. And it could be that the Francis Ngannou that fights Derrick Lewis the second time is a completely different animal from the Francis Ngannou that lost to Derrick Lewis the first time. And it could be the Francis Ngannou that fights Cyryl Gane in their actual fight could be a completely different fighter from the fighter that used to spar with him all them years ago in France. But the reverse could also be true. Derrick Lewis might be able to pull it off against Francis Ngannou again. He beat him the first time. There's no reason in his own mind that he would think he can't do it again. On top of that, Cyryl Gane used to spar with Francis Ngannou, so he probably had a lot of success. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been his chief sparring partner. The only way you become a chief sparring partner for a fighter is if you're giving them good work. So the sparring sessions between the two must have been competitive if he was the chief sparring partner of Francis Ngannou. So it's going to be interesting to see what actually happens when they actually fight. But obviously, they both have to get past each other. Derrick Lewis needs to get past Cyryl Gane to fight Francis Ngannou, and Cyryl Gane needs to get past past Derrick Lewis to fight Francis Ngannou, but regardless of the outcome, whoever gets past who, they're going to fight an opponent that they know a lot about, because they've already been in there with them. In the case of Cyryl Gane, he's been in there in the training camp with him, and in the case of Derrick Lewis, he's actually been in there and fought him, and not only fought him but also beat him. So what do you think about all of this stuff that I'm saying? Do you think it will make a significant difference, or do you think it doesn't really make a difference? Even though they know of each other, they're completely different fighters now. Francis Ngannou has obviously come leaps and bounds since he fought Derrick Lewis the first time, and I'm sure he's come even more leaps and bounds since he used to spar with Cyryl Gane all them years ago. But obviously both Derrick Lewis and Cyryl Gane have improved as well. So how do you think this affects the outcome of the fight? How do you think this affects what will happen when they fight each other? Do you think it affects anything? Do you think the outcome is already predetermined? Maybe you think sparring and training sessions doesn't really mean anything. All that matters is how you perform on the ring on the night. But then again, Derrick Lewis actually beat Francis Ngannou on the night, so maybe you think now that he's improved so much, Francis, since the Stipe fight, and he's obviously got takedown defense and all this other stuff that he can do on the ground, and he can wrestle as well. Maybe you think that he beats Derrick Lewis decisively this time. I personally can't wait to see what happens, and I can't wait to see who beats who in what fight, and I'm looking forward to it as well. So yeah, that's my opinion on it. Tell me your opinion on it. Like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace out.